Zihni geliyor.
Yes, get in there, my son. I'm the f***ing greatest of all time. No one can do it like me. Gloves more powerful than MJ. Iconic like MJ. White like MJ. At the end. I want the statue in the car park or at the front door. Wait, no, hold on a second. Come on, you'd think he could just get up and stop it really with how slowly it's traveling.
Zihni vurdu, kaçırdı. Gol oldu. Top ağlara gitti, inanılmaz.
Yeah, you're bad, just like MJ as well. How about that? Yo guys, it is your boy Nirin here, and you are watching FTW. This, of course, the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst what football has to offer during the last 7 days. What's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, an outbreak of hantavirus, of course, took place on a cruise last week, and it's all people returning to the UK from that cruise this week. There's the revelation that one man went to a wedding straight after the cruise. That's a funny shaped bouquet. What in the... This brother's super spreading the disease with a 40% hit rate and a 6 KD.
I don't get nervous, but I'm starting to get a bit shaky, you know?
This is a serious situation. We need to get to the bottom of how to stop this before we get another global pandemic.
What is going on here?
Listen, mind your business if you see me on a Monday afternoon trying to stay safe. Jack Grealish has natural immunity, boys. Rumours were spreading that it also takes 3 inches off your penis size. But what happens if it's only 2 inches at the start? I'm asking for a friend. Either way, with a potential lockdown on the horizon, if this does spread at all, Anthony Martial's ready to ball out. I'm practicing my clapping for when I'm stood on a doorstep. Jack Grealish is practicing his clapping, but of a different kind. And this virus, yeah, it needs to get to work because it's got 2 weeks to null and void the Premier League and stop Arsenal from winning it.
Mr. Speaker, I am a gooner, and so, as usual.
Anyway, onto the football though now, and it's probably been the most mental week in football history. How the fuck am I going to edit this into one episode, guys? And the Prime Minister's favourite gooners don't need a VPN in order to get a semi on. They just need a bet of over 4.5 corners. Arsenal have been making their corner tactics a war zone for a while now, so that's why they signed a deal with that new sleeve sponsor. Mikel Arteta, though, was looking to cause war crimes of his own as they headed to the Olympic Stadium in search for a Premier League gold medal. West Ham, meanwhile, were aiming to avoid being swung out of the entire league. This clash was due to be a massive one at the top and bottom of the table, and Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola already had his allegiances sorted.
Come on, you iron.
He was feeling a certain type of way after 6 business minutes of being a West Ham fan in this economy. Another West Ham fan also needed a result, the one that had posted this over on Twitter. Yeah, for those that don't keep up with Twitter very often, this tweet has gone quadruple, triple platinum. Except given the current situation, an Arsenal win here could see Declan Rice lift the Premier League title and West Ham get relegated. It's poetry when you think about it. The fate of this tweet was in Declan Rice's hands. And so was Mavropanos. This game was absolute back and forth action, complete and utter. No, I'm joking. Arsenal were involved, so it was absolutely not that at all. But it would spring into life with 20 minutes to go, as David Raya got his Emi Martinez moment, making a crucial one-on-one save from Matheus Fernandes. This goes in, West Ham could stay up, and Arsenal bottle the league to Man City again, only for the Gunners to go at the other end and score with 10 minutes to go. But that wouldn't be the end of the story, as Callum Wilson forced in a ball just over the line despite Declan Rice's best efforts, and suddenly Arsenal dropping points was back on. Yes! Come on! Goodness gracious, man. Oh, fuck no, it's going to VAR, lads.
Oh, jeezy pips, man.
All hell broke loose late in the day here. Arsenal catching life as the goal was disallowed for Pablo putting his arm across Arsenal goalkeeper David Raya. Now, this split opinion on social media massively. A completely polarising VAR decision, and one that had people fighting. Well, there were people throwing hands in the penalty area as well, because this one was out and out WWE. Whilst Pablo, in fairness, was definitely grips maxing David Raya, VAR definitely had a certain agenda getting ready to step in here.
Mr. Speaker, I am a gooner.
William Saliba was strolling through his own penalty area, attempting not to get C4'd by someone in the meantime, as there were fouls all over the gaff here. Declan Rice could be seen rugby tackling Mavropanos. What you don't actually realise was, before this corner had been taken, Mavropanos had actually eaten several olives, and so Declan Rice was stopping him from choking. This is actually a very heroic activity. NHS manoeuvre.
You're hearing this, you, man.
This has got to be the funniest corner of all time. You've got Declan Rice rugby tackling and fouling like 2 two people at the same time. Kai Havertz is getting wrestled to the ground. Pablo's got his arm across David Raya, but is only in that position because Trossard pushes him there without looking at the ball. And Gabriel's pulling Pablo down at the same time. Either way for Arsenal, and things firmly all worked out. El Hadji Diouf fuming at full time when asked about it.
No, don't say I'm rolling up and down. The problem is that I think the referee is for them.
If you're going to ask me about it, lads, I know it's been a while. Everyone's talked about it already at this stage. But if you want my opinion, I don't understand, really. It is a foul on Raya. I'm not denying that. It definitely is. But, lads, there are 7 other fouls happening at the same time here. And I think I counted 4 of them happened before Raya's one. I get that it's a foul on Raya, and obviously the logic that they're clearly applying here is that a goalkeeper is more important. But why? A goalkeeper has hands. He has an advantage in this situation. If anything, we should be more lenient on fouls on goalkeepers rather than everybody else. I just don't understand the logic of looking at VAR. No matter who's involved, no matter what team's involved, no matter what the conclusion is, because you could probably argue the first foul, probably Kai Havertz getting wrestled to the ground, or Trossard pushing Pablo. I'm not fully sure. But either way, like, why ignore all the other ones and then only go at the David Raya one? I think we just need to get rid of all of this fucking grappling, because we've got this being given as a foul, yet Declan Rice grabbing and handballing at the same time versus Chelsea isn't. Callum Wilson, either way, was not happy over on Instagram. He preferred not to get in trouble. At least there was some wholesome stuff going on in the aftermath, and that was these Arsenal grannies getting emotional. They've not seen a title win in a while, and they might be on the verge of one. This man with a champion shirt is a massive aura gamble. Meanwhile, David Raya, with this controversial clean sheet, earned his 3rd Golden Glove in a row. I think, honestly, with how good the defence are in front of him, they should get a finger each. Not like that. Not in that sense, but... And now Arsenal haters are reliant on Michael Jackson's Smooth Criminals to stop the Gunners now. Man City at least get the pressure on after their slip-up against Everton, beating Brentford earlier on in the week. They had the, drawn-out players, kids initiative going on. Ryan Cherky looks like he's on something in this one. Whilst Man City won pretty handedly, Bernardo Silva was using his hands for something else, punching players. VAR took one look at this one and then realised who it was and said play on. Meanwhile, one Arsenal fan could be seen sneaking in the Brentford end. Then Man City went within 2 points of Arsenal again thanks to a 3-0 win over Crystal Palace. Man City now relying on an old friend to do the business for them from Burnley, and he definitely can't. He can't do it. It's not even, don't even bother getting your hopes up, lads. It was Mother's Day last weekend and he still hasn't finished signing all the cards that he's got to dish out for his kids. Let's though head to Spain next, which has been the wild flipping West recently. As I'm sure you can tell from my upload history, it's been a wild time for Real Madrid. Their HR department has been at max capacity. Real's staff well-being policy just locking Fede Valverde in a hospital wing. This after a March Madness UFC bracket between the Uruguayan and Aurelian Tchouameni. Probably should have seen this coming with his celebration, in fairness, resulting in a hospital trip for Fede. Aurelian Tchouameni could be seen intercepting the ambulance he was in, pushing his stretcher down a large hill to inflict further damage. When he returned back to Real Madrid, best believe dictator Mbappe will be threatening him with being omitted from the French squad. If he thinks he can cause this sort of carnage at the World Cup, you don't stand a chance, bro. He'll get you out of there. Valverde ended up with an apparent brain injury from this. He'll be slapping everybody when he arrives back at Real training because he can't remember who actually put him in hospital, so he's just being sure. And on the other side of the bracket, Antonio Rudiger high-kneeing his way into Alvaro Carreras' Instagram block list. Ferland Mendy might have died. He was in hospital next to Fede, in fairness. And Vinny Jr. was snitching all of this information about Tchouameni's punch to the press.
And he flew like they shot him with AK-47. Flew, jumped.
I just feel bad for Jose Mourinho, who's supposed to come in and put out all these fires, looking at the squad he's got next season after everyone's beaten each other up.
Bro, who the fuck is these players? Who the fuck is Dixon Boner? Dick man. Who are these?
Either way, it was time for Real Madrid to swap the ring for the screen now. No, I'm not talking about KSI tune, although upon hearing that, probably also caused a desire to be violent. There was at least some love as 2 Barcelona fans got engaged at the Camp Nou before El Clasico. Barca will be hoping to enter into marriage with back-to-back La Liga crowns. Meanwhile, they gave themselves a chance to win it in El Clasico for the first time in their history. Therefore, Real Madrid had to be up for the fight with each other, most likely. Aurelian Tchouameni somehow got into the starting 11 after his fine. Valverde fuming watching from his hospital bed. A stunning Marcus Rashford free kick got the goal scoring going here, and a 2-0 easy win for Barca would follow to lift the league title. PSG manager Luis Enrique still clearly obviously has a lot of love for Barca. He was asking about the El Clasico score immediately after PSG's game. Pedri, meanwhile, was once again celebrating with his dad, this time via a GoPro penalty. Kylian Mbappe could only watch on at home given he is unfit at the moment, posting Hala Madrid on Insta whilst his team were already 2-0 down, and that led to Florentino Perez calling an emergency press conference.
Nos hemos quedado en blanca, pero oiga que yo estaba aquí no sé cuántas temporadas.
A lot of people were suggesting it might be him standing down, but instead he refused to leave the Santiago Bernabeu, threw in some misogyny purely for the love of the game, and suggested that if people wanted to get rid of him, they'd have to shoot him. Kylian Mbappe could be seen, meanwhile, meanwhile stood outside Florentino's office door. As I mentioned, though, Barca were La Liga champions, and they celebrated wildly on the streets of the city. Lamine Yamal holding this shirt saying thank God he's not a Madridista, but his dad is a Madridista, in fairness. He was also seen holding a Palestine flag, something he's been very vocal in his support for, though mysteriously that was the only thing that Fabrizio Romano omitted from his wall-to-wall coverage. Wojciech Szczesny was being himself on the bus, and by that I mean smoking. He cost Barca about 68 packets of Camel Blue as a wage, yet he's got 2 more La Ligas than Kylian Mbappe. He was living his best life later on in the evening with fans, I assume, probably drunk. Robert Lewandowski was bringing the TikTok dancing to the table, as if anybody needed that whatsoever, and Barca fans were showing off pictures of dictator Mbappe on their phone during the course of the bus parade. We got to see a new character be introduced to Barcelona's team, and that's Pedri Potter, as the rest of his Barca teammates spotted a Real fan on a balcony and were giving him grief. Marcus Rashford, meanwhile, was, I'm sure, celebrating too. He's now fully integrated in the country after putting on a Spanish accent in an interview.
I don't know. I am not a magician, but if I was, I would stay. I wasn't going to shoot, and then because when I put the ball down, I didn't see the angles, like I didn't feel confident it was going to be a goal, so I was going to cross, but then everyone is telling me to shoot, and then I hyped myself up a little bit, so...
Hola, Neymar, yeah, sunny, innit? Luke Shaw won't want to hear all this continental speak when he returns to United after his loan spell, saying, "Como estás?" Fuck off, you Spanish cunt. Meanwhile, as for the rest of the celebrations, Dani Olmo and co could be seen line biking on their way to the after party, which if Lamine Yamal had any influence on organising, will look very crazy indeed. Oh man, who even invited Lisandro Martinez? We're not even boys like that. Barcelona, though, did fuck their chance of getting to 100 points this season in La Liga when they were defeated by relegation-threatened Alaves. Let's be honest, the players turned up to this one drunk. Wojciech Szczesny's body is 87% nicotine right now. Marcus Rashford was probably drink driving into the training ground and the game as well. They've gifted points here to Alaves in a relegation race that features about another 47 other La Liga teams in it. I don't know what the hell's going on in La Liga right now. Back in England, though, and part-time football club and full-time disappointments, Liverpool faced off against Chelsea at Anfield, a side that had gotten 6 losses in a row. But that's where Liverpool come in. I am in the Arne penitentiary. Guys, I just want you to know. Like, they got me. They put me in there, and I'm not having a good time. Yeah, the score was 1-1 here. Pretty predictable that neither of these two teams would win. Cody Gakpo had secured no touches within the first 20 minutes, so hadn't even qualified for a rating yet in this one. Arne being out-coached here by a man who I don't think even has his full coaching badges yet. We've got Scottish Liverpool supporters looking forward to international break, for fuck's sake. This is how bad this is getting. But both sides genuinely terrible. This was the battle of mid. We are the losers for watching. This game literally killed our mascot, for fuck's sake. And of course, having watched that display, Liverpool's board had decided that Arne Slot is going to be staying for next season. Cody Gakpo, I think, accepted that offer on his behalf. The croquet show's being extended by another season, guys. The network, they brought it back. They're running it again next campaign. And with that, Xabi Alonso, who a lot of people thought would head to Anfield, could well be going to Stamford Bridge instead.
I'm not bothered, really, I'm not bothered.
I'm going to be watching him next season at Chelsea in the Prem. Not at my club, where he should be. To be fair, baptism of fire for Xabi Alonso going from Kylian Mbappe to Alejandro Garnacho. So he'll be left a little bit confused when the interviewer, when he goes for the job, says he has to have a LinkedIn page with over 20,000 subscribers. Arne Slot might not be leaving Liverpool Football Club, but he could be seen leaving Mo Salah's leaving drinks very, very hastily indeed. These two hate each other, bruv. You've left the last supper of a Liverpool legend whilst it's still light outside. He's left this gaff at 3:30 p.m. and the function started at 3:15. Man hadn't even finished his food and he was out of there. I know this shiny cranium geezer contributed absolutely nothing to this build. We got exclusive behind the scenes footage of him giving his speech on Mo's career.
The nastiest, cruelest, most vile, filthiest criminal. Nastiest, vile wretch.
Now, though, down in the Championship, and there's been serious drama in the playoffs, as there's a new case of Spygate. A Southampton spy was caught at Middlesbrough's training complex, basically attempting to get inside information before their second leg clash in the Championship playoff semi-finals. This spy had pro equipment and microphones, apparently. It was found out to be a kid called William Salt, who's an intern at Southampton. The club, seemingly, I mean, allegedly, had, sent him over there to do a little bit of reconnaissance. The the concept of an intern costing an entire club like £100 million if they get kicked out of the playoffs is insane to me. He can be seen here hiding, and I use that term lightly, behind a tree. This brother's the new James Bond, mate. Will Salt, bruv. I'm checking my seasoning to make sure it's not him, to get me, like, scanning around when I open my VPN just to make sure he's not out my window. Now, as Southampton prepped for their game here against Middlesbrough, and fans turned up chanting, "We'll spy when we want," one kid even in a ghillie suit for this one. And Southampton were victorious here, despite Middlesbrough's Callum Britton being so focused on their playoff match that he forgot his own wife's birthday. Southampton's manager walked out on a press conference after being asked a question about it, but it could be Southampton that are walking out of the playoffs entirely, as the EFL are considering delaying the final to work out whether they should be kicked out or not. They would be playing Hull City if they do end up making it there, who beat Millwall 2-0 in the other second leg. Expected racismo for the next Premier League season is now dropping. Speaking of expected, and Hull's expected points for this campaign see them 23rd. How the fuck did they end up in the playoffs, mate? They're going to be the first team to finish in a Premier League season on negative points on merit. This is going to be insane. Derby's 2007 squad, you're in luck seeing these lot getting promoted. At Manchester United, meanwhile, and Rio Ferdinand could be seen asking Casemiro about the footballers left him quotes from Jamie Carragher.
Leave the football before the football leaves you.
So, it's your opinion. I respect your opinion. I don't like it because due to respect. It's big disrespect with me.
Yes, I agree. Totally.
The life changed. So look now. Talking about this guy, the football, live in, I don't know.
Carragher.
Yeah.
You don't even know his name. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, this man's stirring the pot. I absolutely know that he is. He doesn't even know Jamie Carragher's name. Elsewhere in the Manchester area, and the man that met Pep Guardiola.
I hope you
I see you in the conference of the Irons.
Oh yeah?
Crazy. Wow.
Man. How is he always finding himself in these predicaments, man? What a guy. Up in Scotland, and the title race is hotting up and took a real controversial twist in Celtic's most recent match. If you somehow don't know, Hearts are taking it to the establishment this season. They are top of the league. They're 1 point clear going into the final game of the season where they play Celtic away from home. Celtic and Rangers, but mostly Celtic, especially recently, have had a stranglehold over Scottish football, certainly for the last 2 decades. Hearts, though, are producing a serious underdog story, and they could have gone 3 points clear had it not been for a last-minute penalty being given in Celtic's favour, a contentious handball that could well have been just a normal header clear. Whatever you think, this decision was way too quick, no. It took me about 4 minutes and some serious zooming for me to conclude if my man did it. This has massive implications as well. Celtic fans were attempting to argue that it was a guaranteed handball using AI. I mean, it's a Premier League badge, honestly. That probably should have given it away. To be honest, when I first saw it, I thought it was a handball as well, just because of the position, but the more you see it from different angles, it does look like his hair moves, which obviously wouldn't happen if he hadn't headed the ball. I personally think it's a header as well because of the distance that it gets, although we actually have some conclusive scientific evidence from these kids out on the street who came to the conclusion that if you were to like head the ball with your hand in between instead, it wouldn't get the necessary distance that this header in the Celtic game actually got. Either way, Celtic fans, why are you celebrating like this, bro? It's so forced. You win the league every flipping year, lad. Personally, for me, look, I was born and bred in Hearts, innit? So I'm fuming now, get me? In Italy, and Teo Hernandez could be in trouble for hosting alleged laughing gas escort parties.
Beg your pardon?
Yves Bissouma's waiting outside to get in. I know that he's chatting to the bouncer right now. Bro's in the smoking area. And it's a house party. We don't even have any of them. Cole Palmer was probably thinking he would just get to do some kick-ups with balloons, bless him. These are the Hernandez files, bro. This is kind of mental, by the way. Like, this is actually a little bit nuts. Laughing gas is one thing, but escort parties, bro, this is a bit mental. Jadon Sancho is cutting from Aston Villa training with immediate effect upon hearing there's balloons there. This has got Marseille future signing written all over it. We'll be escorting you to prison, Teo, mate. That's where you're going to be going. Their Milan rivals Inter, meanwhile, are focusing on winning silverware instead of escort parties. Christian Kivu now doing the double after winning the Coppa Italia final versus Lazio. The highlight of this game being 53-year-old Pedro being blammed in the face.
He could have been killed.
At Juve, meanwhile, and Luciano Spalletti was just staring intensely at the camera for some reason. Shout out to FC Como, who have qualified for Europe for the first time in their history. Some exciting young players playing at this squad, the likes of Baturina, the likes of Nico Path, the likes of Asan Diao, and a really interesting style of play under Cesc Fabregas. Obviously, there's been quite a lot of funding into that side, but, you know, very impressive either way, considering they were playing in the 4th tier of Italian football 10 years ago. At Fiorentina, and sad news for Tariq Lamptey, who has been released by the club, I assume mutually, after just 25 minutes of football played for the Italian side. I do feel sorry for him, man. When this guy was at Brighton as a youngster, obviously after moving from Chelsea's academy, he was highly sought after. There was a lot of potential there, but he cannot stay fit. His injury record, emphasis on record, it's record breaking. There are people in morgues right now that are healthier than Tariq Lamptey. I hope he can just get a run, man, of fitness. Shout out to Mandela Keita at Parma, who scored in front of his mum on Mother's Day and got very emotional about it. We really love to see it. In France, and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang was hoping to put the flames out on the most ridiculous week in football history, except he decided to use that fire extinguisher to add to it instead. He's been suspended by Olympique Marseille after spraying extinguisher foam at Bob Tari, who is the club's sporting director's representative, spraying the foam all over his bed and personal belongings. It's the history of the OM.
LFC, the worst people in history. It's Idi Amin in goal. In attacking midfield, it is Gary Glitter and the strike partnership of Jimmy Savile.
What is going on this week? Why? The reason they found him? Because his hairline was offside in the director's office. Elsewhere though, in League 1, and Paris Saint-Germain were crowned champions, unsurprisingly. They did haram it low-key against Lens in terms of the stats, so they had basically won a title anyway going into the game, 6 points clear, and with a much better goal difference with 2 to go after beating Brest. Goalkeeper Safanov was keeping himself occupied down on the bench by raining on one of his teammates. PSG also announced their new home kit, or released it for next season. Someone said that it's North Korea inspired. Kylian Mbappe's influence knows no bounds. Meanwhile, Ousmane Dembele was crowned player of the season for Ligue 1, having started just 9 games. Look, I get it. Very good footballer, won the Ballon d'Or, okay, and PSG won the league. It makes sense on the face of it, but guys, he's one player of the season on Harvey Elliott numbers here. At Monaco, and Yaya Toure has rejoined the club that he played at before joining the likes of Barca and Man City. I know Paul Pogba can't stay fit, but it seems a little bit out of control. His welcome speech was confusing as ever.
Hey Jim, they're doing the work, they're doing.
Shout out to Messian Suarez, a 16-year-old who made his pro debut for Lens this week and scored on his debut with a goal to send them to the Champions League. What a storyline that is. Watch out for him. And watch out for Le Mans, who have been promoted to Ligue 1 for the first time since 2010. Le Mans, more known for its motorsport, saw fans at the MotoGP last weekend celebrating on the back of this truck. In Spain now, and Sevilla's admin hates Thomas Partey. Nice. Their 20-year-old defender Andres Castrin was getting emotional after scoring an equalising goal in a win versus Espanyol. In Germany, meanwhile, and Borussia Dortmund won the Premier League International Cup, beating Real Madrid Castilla in the final. Right sound. Yeah, no, I won't ask any questions at all. And they tweeted saying that they'd won the Premier League without the need for corners. Yeah, shit, Alzari award for BVB's admin here. Michael Elise, meanwhile, was causing a stir on television.
Félicitations, Michael. Qu'est-ce qui représente ce trophée pour toi?
Merci. Oh putain. On est live? Are we live?
And shout out to Marie-Louise Etta, who's been keeping a track of her managerial career so far at Union Berlin. She becomes the first woman to win a men's match as manager in top 5 league history, winning with Union Berlin this week. Now, though, time for your goals of the week. We got more screamers as always. First of all, we start with an immediate impact in that Azerbaijani Cup final. Think about Orfi Mbina from Gabon, who was on the pitch for just 50 seconds before unleashing this beautiful bicycle kick. It's a volley of a different nature, though, coming from Turkey, where Mirac Aser, probably pronouncing that wrong, I'm really sorry, broski, has been given the ball, he's controlled it and smacked it in from distance with all manner of curve and dip. But the final goal comes from Scotland, and the Midas touch for Celtic, as their Japanese forward Daisen Maeda pulled out this control as well as a perfect bicycle kick in the Old Firm derby. 2 crazy scenes from Celtic supporters. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty.
Para tirar al área, o sea, perdieron.
¡Ay, se la roba! ¡Se la va a robar Olivera! ¡Se la robó a Kimenko! ¡Puede estar la apertura del marcador! ¡El tiro de Olivera! ¡Rebote! ¡La saca! ¡Rebote! ¡Gol en contra! ¡Gol en contra! ¡Gol!
And that concludes the beautiful game. Now, there was late drama in Saudi Arabia between Al Nassr and Al Hilal. Al Nassr were 1-0 up and on the verge of the Saudi Pro League crown. It would have been the first piece of silverware for Big Ron in Saudi Arabia. And into the 98th minute with it all but sewn up, yeah, their keeper absolutely fucked it right at the death for Cristiano, who was left depressed on the sidelines. One of their fans watching at home thought they'd won it, only to be proven wrong at the last opportunity. But what's that? The 99th minute, and this random woman's jumped out of the crowd and slapped one in the top corner. This is, yo, what real scenes, defo, not AI. Next up, we've got some great teaching at this school. This teacher promising free time for his students if he packs Messi in this World Cup Panini stickers packet. An awards show somewhere across the globe, and Didier Drogba got this assist from a content creator. A beautiful rose to give to his missus, and he knows that he got the assist as well. Frank Lampard would have been proud of that one to Drogba. For a great assist to an incredible save, though, now. Just because you're rowing a boat doesn't mean you can't bring out some unbelievable techers. So, honestly, if we're looking at unbelievable techers in America, Luis Suarez, can you stop doing them? Because this man is traveling at the speed of slow. Just wrap it up, hang up the boots, broski. You're injuring your knees. The speed cameras are flashing at you for not going quick enough. Do you understand how insane that is? On Mexican television now, and this Don almost stacked it in front of a live audience, there were wild scenes in Czechia in the Prague derby between Slavia and Sparta, when a game had to be called off right at the death for ultras or fans of both teams running on with flares and basically attacking one another. It was an interruption of a different kind, though, in Argentina between Villa Teresa and Hurricane, as this dog jumped onto the pitch and wanted to take the pen, basically. Look, he's stat padding. He's got girls to impress as well. The wildlife was causing a scene up in Scotland as well, as Aberdeen had to put on the big screen a little bit of a warning to suggest they were going to conduct some seagull management and for people not to be concerned if they heard loud noises, so the seagulls couldn't get in the way of the second half. In Brazil now, we've got some very flamboyant stretchers. Brother, if I get brought off on that, just allow me. Just put me in the van. Like, I need to go to the hospital. Big Brazilian character Davison, who I'm sure you've seen montages of over on Twitter, was getting grief when he came on as a substitute this week. He scored 7 minutes later and shushed the crowd that had been booing him when he came onto the pitch. He then had an impact again, scoring once more 3 minutes later, and he had a change of heart. He decided to apologise to the supporters. Now, though, time for the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, guys, you can always rely on this country for greatness. It's actually genuinely incredible. It just never fails to disappoint. What it does fail to do sometimes is provide good quality football. Because in this game between FCSB and Unarea, the goalkeeper's ended up in a collision with one of his own defenders and is now injured down on the ground. In the meantime, Unarea end up hitting the bar. Not once, but twice. Not entirely sure how they ended up hitting the bar the second time, but FCSB struggled to get the ball away. They cannot possibly get it clear, and it ends up in the back of the net. One of the worst goals I've probably seen this season. Closer to home, and KSI is obviously now an owner of Dagenham and Redbridge. Maybe they can expect team talks like he gave to Prime FC and Baller League.
What the fuck was that? Are you proud of that? Are any of you proud of that? Everything I'm doing, bro. I'm literally giving you everything. Everything on the plate. Everything!
How do you not burst out laughing genuinely at this? I don't understand. The players are firmly in the thick of it right now, and they don't want to be. He's trying to bring road to Division 1 tactics to the National League. Elsewhere now, and Barry Bannon's wife or partner has got him probably into trouble with the manager, responding to critique of her partner by saying that a good manager would get the best out of him. Yeah, that's definitely going to get you in trouble, mate. Meanwhile, Harry McCurdy said goodbye to his Crawley Town teammates over on Instagram, saying he met some good people and he met some wrong-uns. I'm sure they love you too, broski. Over in Spain now, and in the Catalonia Cup final, Lleida's players, or therefore their women's side, decided to sit on the pitch before the start of the game in protest over unpaid wages. Shout out to Cristo Fernandez, the actor from Ted Lasso. After a 2-month trial, he's been signed by El Paso Locomotive FC of the USL Championship. He'd had trials as a youngster playing in Mexico, which is very cool that someone who's like an actor from a footballing TV show has actually now like become a footballer as well. Over in Russia now, we've got a fucking fluffy as shit dog in the stands here. In Norway, and this derby between Sarpsborg and Fredrikstad had to be temporarily suspended because a drone was flying over the stadium. The encapsulation of unbothered, though, comes from Uruguay, where Washington Aguirre for Peñarol has decided to just sit down and eat a cookie by the sidelines whilst there's a fight going on in the background. This is how I imagine Trent Alexander-Arnold's week has been. At Sao Paulo now in Brazil, and this is exactly what VAR should be used for.
percebo o jogador de São Paulo comemorando o gol. Ele não encosta na mão na sua genitália. Ele comemora a situação.
Crazy stuff going on in Switzerland. Last time I told you the story of the underdogs, newly promoted FC Thun, who'd got promoted and won the Swiss Pro League immediately. Well, they came crashing back down to earth, I assume, whilst hungover, as they were beaten 8-3 by Young Boys. There's a lot of beating going on for Malaysian side Johor Darul Tazim, who have now matched the world record for being unbeaten in their footballing league, a run that now stretches to 108 league games. In Denmark now, we've got another underdog and unusual title winner in the form of Aarhus, who have won the title now for the first time in 40 years. Meanwhile, an unusual decision being taken by Tanzanian side Young Africans, who sacked their manager, who'd gone on an unbeaten streak of 15 games. Seems a little bit harsh. And in his absence, they went on to lose, but not only that, he went on to win Manager of the Month, whilst not actually being manager of the club. Now, though, it is time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. Now, one thing that's definitely had a rise to prominence recently has been goalkeepers taking to social media with highlights of their games. Highlights of their saves with a little GoPro inside their nets. I personally really like the content, but it's definitely given some people some confidence. Combine that with the immeasurable damage that Manuel Neuer has done in making everybody think they're a sweeper keeper, and we get this clip from France where a guy's tried to do a scorpion kick to get the ball clear and conceded instead. It's a good job you're winning, lad. On to the weird stuff, though, now. First of all, we start with a story that I've actually brought you partly before, and it comes from Sudan, where Al Hilal have been playing outside of Sudan due to conflict happening in the region. This season, they've been playing in Rwanda, and they've actually won the Rwandan League, which means they've won the league in 3 different countries in the space of 12 months. Their B team winning in Sudan, their A team winning in Rwanda, and also Mauritania as well. In Serbia, and one side are having a really dismal season. In the lower leagues of Serbian football, Rudar 2016 will be hoping to get to the end of 2026 pretty quickly, because their best result in the last 2 months, a 3-0 defeat where they just didn't show up and they lost the game by default instead. And finally, we head to Italy. We find a story of Andrea Masiello. This man is retiring from football just before he plays a playoff game with Südtirol. Why is he retiring before an all-important relegation promotion playoff, I hear you ask? Because it would be against Bari, a team who quite literally despise him because he was involved in a match-fixing scandal where he scored an own goal for them back in 2011. And since that day, he's sworn that he will never play them again because he feels so bad. That, though, is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course, subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. It's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.